have now got Joey Garoflo on with us, and we appreciate him joining us. Sorry we got our numbers scrambled, but he is here, and he was a New York City correctional officer who worked at Ground Zero in the first few weeks after 9/11. He is the founder and director of 911 WTC First Responders Foundation. Joey, I went through a chronicle earlier of mainstream news admitting that the first responders are barred from this year's event. You're not invited. And I know it's very hurtful to the true heroes of 9/11. Why do you think they're doing this, sir?
Well, Alex, to tell you the truth, at first I thought it was because of protection. And I wanted to really believe that, knowing that, first responders were already hurt and injured, and God forbid anything would happen, they wanted to keep us away from it. And I'll still believe that because that could be part of, their reasoning. But my real belief is it's political. It's an Obama campaign that our mayor had teamed up with because, he's been just, one after the other, siding with Obama and going against first responders from day one, indicative to whatever, plans he had put into effect by protocol that he had to take care of any, first responders, such as the medical monitoring program at Mount Sinai or, going to funerals. I mean, it's just one mistake after the next. And it's a disrespect, a totally disrespect. And it's a disrespect and an embarrassment to this country, the spirit of America. I mean, this is not what our forefathers had planned for the future.
Well, if the survivors aren't there, period, and are barred, and they're saying they'll have one little ceremony with the police chief or something, this is outrageous. This is asinine. This is so absurdist. It's like satire. I mean, when I first saw it in CNN a week ago, I didn't know it had been out for weeks before that. No one had even made an issue out of it. And I didn't believe it when I first saw it and then went and found it. From the firefighters and police I've talked to, from what I've seen on the ground, most of them question, obviously, WTC7, the official story. Instead of flipping me off like they do 8 years ago, they come over and pat me on the back. I mean, the majority of them. Do you think that also they don't want people there that could do some embarrassing things, could say some embarrassing things? We just had a controlled demolition in another city, and a guy jumped up on stage on TV and said, 9/11's right in front of you. Look at the controlled demolition. What's your view on that, sir?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, there are several reasons here which have a lot of probable cause for their reasoning, and by all means, I mean, hey, people are going to show up and they're going to exercise their right, without a doubt. And to tell you the truth, I probably would have been one of them to say something. Like the biggest thing is, and why I joined the Remember Building 7 campaign is primarily because when that building went down, and in all of my documents, there was no mention of WTC 7 and my settlement with the city, any medical documents. Meanwhile, it added and increased toxins into the air unnecessarily.
Well, Joey, do you think this is going to backfire, though? Because I'm told a bunch of first responders are going to be outside the gates with the media pointing out that you're barred.
Well, yeah, I mean, there are calls being made. I've been told that they want to do a human chain around the perimeter.
Stay there. We are back live. Tons of news and your phone calls coming up in the next segment. Incredible developments from the Ron Paul camp. We are joined by Joey Garoflo, who is a New York City correctional officer and worked at Ground Zero in the first few weeks after 9/11. He is a founder and director of 911 WTC First Responders Foundation. Bottom line, sir, it's CNN, Fox News are reporting that the first responders, the heroes, the survivors are barred from the 10th anniversary. What is your view on that? Why do you think they're doing it? And I've called for, and I know others are calling for, have you heard anything about a demonstration by the heroes that they're barred while the political pimps sit there and try to push their agenda off of your fallen comrades?
Yeah, well, Alex, thanks for having me on, first off. Yeah, it was very shocking when I heard it myself. And as far as my belief, there could be several of their reasons. One, which is the least, protecting any first responder who's already sick from being out back in Manhattan with such a large crowd. So we're going to put that on the bottom because any first responder who was ill and not able to go would not go, primarily because of that. So I won't even believe that. And the other reason, which I really believe, is you call it pimping. It's Obama campaign. It's the mayor, campaigning for Obama. You're bringing in politicians that have no business being there. Okay, why are they there? Now, God bless the families. Okay, of all the dearly departed. Those are the true heroes. Okay, and the innocent victims who stood and waited for, the first responders or rescuers to come in. Those are the true heroes, okay? But this is our history. And basically, to tell you the truth, they're talking about sending out, squads of first responders. And when I'm saying they, the various different groups, there's been talk. I received calls. I received emails. Joey, bring your group. Get as many people as you can. Let's come down. Let's do a human chain around the perimeter. The police are not going to arrest us. And I laughed at it. First off, number one, I'm not going to believe that. Okay, with this mayor and especially with the president in town, come on, all bets are off. They don't care who you are. They've already disrespected us in many ways, okay, with their political, agenda. It's the political bully that is controlling, okay, the disrespect. And when I say political bully, Alex, I gave it a definition of protocol and procedure. And that's all they know. And that's all what they're all about. They don't care about the lives that were affected. Procrastination has caused many, many first responders to become very much ill and also to die. And yes, I'm saying it, and also to die. Okay? I'm not done. Okay? I'm just beginning. I've been sitting back waiting. John Field has been great, in the lead. He's starting to get frustrated. We've both been at town hall, listening to all the bull that's been handed to us about first responders who have cancer and are not going to be covered in the Zagrota bill.
Well, Mr. Garoflo, bottom line, you guys were hit by the asbestos. They know you're angry. They don't want you there. It's outrageous. And do you believe they also don't want you raising questions about how Building 7 fell?
Absolutely, Ted. They don't want a guy like me. Why? I'm proven fact, living, that I have what they call fiberglass poisoning. There's fiberglass trapped in my body trying to come out, and that's what the skin rashes are, which Mount Sinai are all mesmerized. They have no clue what it is.
Sir, I want to have you finish if you can. If you got to go, we understand, but we'll be right back. All right, we're finishing up with Joey Garoflo, survivor of 9/11, of somebody who went in and, after the things had collapsed in that dangerous environment where so many people got hurt and killed, and he survived the deadly dust. They've had Mount Sinai and other prestigious medical and university facilities going back 8 years scan their lungs and say, it's unbelievable you guys are still alive. So many of them have died. The government's tried to block their health care, finally said, okay, we'll give you health care, but you've got to be run through a terror database. What do you think of that, Joey, that you guys aren't just now barred because they're done using you to make themselves look like heroes from the 10th anniversary, all the first responders, police, fire, medical, you name it. But now, on top of it, you've got to go through a terror database if you try to get health care. Now they're saying, we're not going to cover cancer, the main thing you need taken care of.
Yeah, Alex, they are so confused. First off, number one, going through a terror database, I mean, that was known from day one in the Zagrota bill, which I had been screaming about from when the bill first came out. I am not totally against it because, listen, I'm an American, and I believe in protecting this country. And, I mean, I'm not going to go into any more semantics other than that. But could it be done a little bit better? Yes, that's one. The second part of your question was, I'm sorry?
Go through a terror database to get health care? I mean, I know they're trying to make the unions go through them now. I mean, do we have to get federal permission to go to the bathroom?
Well, like I said, the procedure and how they're going about doing it is wrong. But to be part to be part of a database is really, for me, it's not a problem. I have nothing to worry about.
No, obviously you've got to be on a database to get the special health care program. I get
exactly.
that. But there's no need to approve you through a terror database. I mean, you don't get approved through a terror database when you get your Social Security check. It's a very dangerous precedent they're setting up. So why?
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, there
should be no procedure as far as that goes. I'm already cleared. I'm already a first responder. I'm already sick. I already got the coverage. Now, 9 years later, you want to change it.
Oh, now I see the point you're making, so it's even worse. Now specifically here in closing, anything else you'd like to add, A, and then B, more on the word you've gotten that there will be some demonstrations or first responders doing a chain around Ground Zero?
This is what I'm told. Whether it comes to fruition or not, is another story. I'm not going to be there. As part of it, I will be close by. But in all, you know what? If they do make arrests, you know what? Shame on them. They're taking away, entitlements. They're taking away rights. Listen, they've robbed us already. From the whole history of 911, which is another story, Alex. And I just wrote a piece on it. There are a lot of educators in a lot of schools across the country that want to start doing education and teaching our children. How do you do that when the history's not even over? And we're just starting. We're just beginning. I'm just like inundated with emails and people crying and please help. And, they didn't know anything about, like I mentioned, the fiberglass poisoning, which I have. And now, it's coming to light to a lot of first responders who are complaining. They're also complaining that they're being mistreated by the treatment centers just recently, where everybody's starting to go back for the annual testing. And basically, the exams, cover a lot. And now they're starting to ask everyone to produce the medical records that we've produced when we first joined, whether it be with my case in 2006 or others in 2002 or 4. They want everyone to reproduce. So this is what I'm saying. They're starting all over again, and they're doing it, after the fact. For what purpose?
Well, it's all part of harassing you. It's all part of...
It's all part of medical discrimination, Alex, and I'm going to scream this until people start listening. This is medical discrimination because of the political bully, because of the pimps that are out there that don't want to fess up or own up to their responsibility in paying for what we are deserved, to be taken care of.
Well, that's it. They just want you to go away, and that's not going to happen. And I challenge you to go down there and to speak out, and the police try to tell you, hey, you got to have a permit. Hey, you don't have to have a permit. And tell them, hey, you're next, buddy. If they'll flush us down the toilet, they're going to do it to you. And let's see if the police and others go along with this, and we'll certainly check in with you in the aftermath, Joey. Thank you so much. We'll be tracking what happens at Ground Zero in 8 days.
Can I say 2 seconds of a last sentence?
Sure.
My biggest fear is the future of our children and our unborn children, Alex, and actually our first responders who are active today. Should this, take place again, how are they going to respond? What will they do knowing how we've all been mistreated and discriminated against? That's my biggest fear.
Well, if you fight back against it, you'll just be the new terrorist. They've already branded away from Al-Qaeda onto the returning veterans, gun owners, libertarians, conservatives. So it's all part of their plan. Thank you so much, Joey. We'll talk to you soon. God bless you.
Thank you.